Okay, after much thought, I've decided to do wedges. So wider at the top, which helps me out here, and then narrow to the bottom. Just a question of what angle. I think I'm going to maybe just like choose a, make it look like a big old dovetail. And then what species of wood to put in there. But this is my widest gap that I have. Here's the other one. This is actually the one. No, this is not the one. Maybe it is the one I fixed. No, this is the one I fixed. Okay. So I'll be removing the majority of the material up here, tapering down to the bottom. I started to clean up and put some stuff away, and then I came across my angle that I set to cut the legs. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use this angle. So it's just a question of laying it on here and figuring out how wide I want this to be. Now, if I were to use this white oak, I'd say something like that. I'm going to have to make a template. Yeah, it's wider than my piece, which is fine. Like I said, I'll find another piece that'll work. Okay, so I'm going to call that it is 3/4 of an inch at the bottom. It is 1 5/8 at the top. So that gives me something to work with. So creating my wedges, this is about how big I think I'll have to make them. It'll drop in about like that. Then I can trim it flush. So this is about 3/4 of an inch across, about, at this point, 1 3/4 up across at about this point. So I've got to make this cut first, and then make these angled cuts on my table saw. I believe I'll do that. Yeah, I can do that on my table saw with my dubby. Should be able to hold that. That's what I'm looking to do. I can get away with it being 1 3/4 across the top. This is too long, but the wider the better. It'll give me something to hang on to. So if I can cut 3 wedges that size, that'll fit about like that. You can see I'm extended way over on this side and about 1/4 inch there. And the beauty of using a wedge is, as long as these two are cut fairly straight, this thing will kind of self-center itself as it goes in. It'll follow the one line, and hopefully, it's got to be reasonable, I guess. It can't be way out of whack. But if I cut these fairly close, I should be able to make this fit nice and tight. Found this nice piece of walnut, planed it on both sides, edge jointed it, then ripped it down. I can easily get 3 wedges out of this. I'll cut more just in case I have trouble. Started cutting my wedges out of this thickness of material, and realized that it was going to be way too much protruding. So I took after I cut the one wedge, I'll keep it, I cut the rest of the piece to be approximately a 1/16 inch proud of this, and this is 3/16. So this is, this is 1/4. I was just eyeballing it. I never did measure it till just now. So that's going to go in there like that. And I had this idea that if I drop it down further and go over the line, I could put a little rabbit on here and make sure that I get a nice clean look. We'll see how that goes. I mean, if I can drop it in and get a nice look, there'll be no need to do that. So, time to make some cuts here. I don't mind cutting into this below here, but I don't want to get into it above this line. I'm just a little shy, which is okay. Well, that wasn't a good idea, but it did come off. Beautiful. Little tiny gap up on top here. This side is pretty true. Boy, it's so close. Just got to take a little off of this edge. There. Yeah. Nice. Ooh, baby. Okay, now the question is, do I want to put a rabbit on that and fit it over the edge? Like that. I've got enough wedges I could try it. This is my last dovetail I'm putting in here. And this is the one that I repaired with the wedge. Turns out the line is right here. And when I make my wedge cut, I'm going to completely remove that repair I did. So that was a good thing to learn from, I guess. But turns out I didn't need to do it after all. It's going to be completely gone. All right, pros and cons. The pro is this looks spectacular because you don't see the cut line. On the other hand, you see it. Let me show you what I did here. Put a little rabbit on there. You see the rabbit because it's not stopped, and it's going to end up being flush with the top. You're going to see that little piece that hangs over, I think. And then here's the other way. And that looks good. I mean, they both look really good. But this way, yeah, you know what? You're still going to see that little bump there. You can see the cut line. Here you can't see the cut line from this direction. And all you'll see is that little bit of the cut on the ring itself. I'm going with this way. I'm going to go with the rabbit. Now, I was able to cut the majority of this off on my table saw, and then I did the rest with the hand plane, having this being my holder. I'm still a little proud of the maple edge, but I put that facet on there, and I think that's going to look really nice. This end I'll cut off with the handsaw and get it close and then tune that one up. But that, I think, is going to look really, really nice. I like the look of that. And then it's not in place yet, but glued in place, I should say. I'm going to take it out and then finish sand this edge. Then I'll glue it in place. And then I'll be ready to rock and roll on the rest of this. This has got me really excited. I'm really pleased with the way that's turning out. Rough cut with the table saw. You got to come at this from both directions. Well, that's awful close. It's close enough. I can get the rest with sandpaper. Okay, screw it up. Again, I got to go from both directions here. Now to keep this square, I'm just letting the bottom of my block plane just ride along this fat edge on the inside. It's much easier. And they're not glued in place, I'm just sitting there. But that, I think, looks fantastic. All right, I got my dowel jig lined up on this 1/4-inch hole. I'm not real enthused about wood on wood, so I'm going to put a bronze bushing in there. So I've got it lined up. I'm going to pull this 1/4-inch bushing, replace it with a 3/8. And then I can drill that and put this bushing in there. And then I'm going to take that wooden dowel out of the top and put a metal piece of 1/4-inch round dowel in metal, steel, whatever. And then that will give me a much better wear surface for this thing to run. So let me grab a drill and drill this out. Alright, I'll epoxy that in place. Yeah, that'll be good.